Ludwig had a rough time at Jason's birthday party. What was this? Oh,
Dude, yesterday I went to
19
Jason
hours
the
ago.
Ween's birthday party, which, if you guys don't know, Jason the Ween turned 21 yesterday.
Ludwig had a rough time at Jason's birthday party.
And for his birthday, he decided to live stream like 16 hours, but more importantly, throw a birthday party that was also streamed. And not just by him. There was like 4 or 5 different people streaming. I don't even know how many people. There was a handful of people who were all streaming there. And so I won't lie. It's not my
Please
scene.
don't.
It's not exactly my ideal Friday night, but, I wanted to support Jason for his birthday. So I decided I would go, I'd give him a gift, and then I would leave. That was my game plan. I was going to go with Cutie, give him a gift, and leave. Now, the first thing I noticed about this party is on the invite, it said no parking. You must Uber. Oh, shit. Did they need a chaperone? Good one. Anyway, I ride my Vespa to the party because it said no parking. You must Uber, but I figured a Vespa, you can kind of cheat all the rules. So I get there, and it turns out exactly as I thought. I see a good parking spot. But as I'm driving up to the spot, there's like a big ass headlight. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a giant single beam of light on the street. And all I can see is the silhouette of a man who looks like this. And that's all I can see. Yeah, it's like a spotlight behind this man on the street, and he's just standing there. And in his hand is a leash, and on the other end of a leash is just the most authentic, classic white woman dog. That white dog that's no longer white, hasn't been for about 8 years, got yellow crusties all over its face. It's yapping the whole time. That's the dog that's in his hand. Okay? And so in my phone, the address says to go down the hill. So I'm going down the hill, and the guy steps in front of my Vespa. Now, bear in mind, my Vespa is a small vehicle. I can get around this man, so I go around. He steps in front of my vehicle. It's a decision by him. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going down the hill." And he said, "No, you're not." And I go, "That's where it says I'm supposed to go." And he says, "What's your last name?" And for whatever reason, I lie. I don't know why. I lie. I go Parker, like Peter Parker. I don't know why I lied. I did nothing wrong. I was completely sober. I just decided to lie. So I said Parker, like Peter Parker. And that's when I realized I fucked up. Not even because I lied, but because I didn't listen to what he actually said. Because he didn't say, "What is your last name?" He said, "What is the last name of the person's house you're going to?" And I didn't word it exactly like that. But I knew that's what he said because after I said Parker, he said nobody by the name of Parker lives down there. And so I went, "Well, that doesn't make sense, sir, because that's my last name." And I'm going there. Because now I was defensive about my lie. So he goes, "Do you live down there?" And I go, "Well, I'm a DoorDash worker, sir. So what do you think?" Because we're in a really nice neighborhood in LA. A second lie, you might have noticed. And he goes, "Well, show me your phone." And I show him the map app. Proudly, I go, "Here it is." And he looks at it for a second, and then I realize I fucked up. Not because the first lie, not because I got defensive about the first lie and did a second lie, because the address of the house I was going to wasn't even behind him or the spotlight. It was actually in front of him. And what had been happening all night is people had made the same mistake I made. We're trying to go down the hill to a non-existent house party because the house party was actually up the hill. And it was just a error on the map's end. So he was basically being the neighborhood watch, trying to stop people from going down the hill because he's annoyed at this party. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, directly next to him is a family's driveway, and it's blocked off with cones. A woman is standing in between the cones as if a car was going to navigate through that, on the phone with the police. And already I'm like, I don't want to be here. This is not my scene. I am a 29-year-old trying to go to a 21-year-old's birthday party. Doesn't make any damn sense. So I sit there, and I realize I actually made quite good time because I went on my Vespa, and Cutie was Ubering with...
I feel like a Vespa would be fun to have. They remind me of just like a more like a high-powered moped, right?
Extra Emily. So I waited for her. I waited like... she was like 8 minutes behind me. So I was just waiting for her. I was sitting there. And as I'm sitting there, there's like a garage door to the party. It opens up. 30 people walk out. Okay? All scantily clad women who look either 19 or 39. It's really hard to tell because they're all just wearing the same exact fit and hella makeup. And I have no idea how old anyone is. I am wearing sweatpants and a white tank top because I had come from the stream. I just look like this, and I have a motorcycle helmet on. And as the garage opens, I'm like, oh, this is my opportunity. I'll get inside a bit early. I'll hand my gift off, and I'll leave right away. And as I go inside, there's a security guard, and he's like, where are you going? And I was like, inside. And I'm thinking I'm not going to lie to this guy. Okay, because my last lies failed. The truth will set me free. I decided not to lie. So I'm just trying to go inside. I'm a friend of Jason's. Which might not have been the right reply. Because his response was kind of like, yeah, sure. Everybody's a fan of Jason's. So my truth, I think, actually came off like a lie. You know, because presumably, if you heard of this party from a friend of a friend or saw it online or whatever, you'd be like, yeah, I'm going to Jason's party, Jason the Ween. But I am friends with Jason. I was trying to say happy birthday. So he's like, well, you got to wait out here. You got to wait. You got to call someone from inside and get you out. And I'm looking through my phone and I'm like, I don't know anyone in there. I know Jason, but I can't call Jason the Ween on his birthday to get me into the party. It's just too big of an ask.
I just would have called. I wouldn't have cared. I just been like, yo, I'm outside. Your guy won't let me in. Come tell him to let me in. That's it.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait for my girlfriend. She'll figure it out. Ray was in there. That was actually my only other solution. I did message Ray. That's what I thought. I messaged Valkyrie. I said, hello, are you here? Apparently, she left instantly. She said, I knew you were coming, but I didn't want to wait. Sorry, let me rephrase. She said, I knew you were coming, but I didn't know how long it would be. Which basically was, I didn't want to wait. Okay, I fucking paraphrased, but that's basically what she said. So anyway, I'm just waiting for Cutie. The guy who wouldn't let me into the party goes, do you have any cigarettes? Me in a half lie, I go, nah, I quit. Which is true. I haven't smoked cigarettes in months.
That's good.
But I was never that on cigarettes to give myself the the title of having quit. And I'm waiting. When all of a sudden, somebody who works at FaZe comes out and they recognize me. This guy comes out. His name's Saeed. He's really nice. He's like, hey, I work with FaZe, and we talk. And he's like, do you want to get in? And at this point, Cutie's like a couple minutes away. I'm like, nah, I'll just wait for Cutie. And then Cutie shows up, and I realize how big of an error I made in not getting dressed for this party, looking at her outfit because she looks awesome. And again, I'm wearing a fucking wife beater with stains on it. In fact, I think it's this exact one. So we get in the party, and the first thing I notice, it is hot. It is hot in there. Like 85 degrees hot. There is no air conditioning. And if you don't know right now, the reason I'm dressed up like a douchebag every stream is not because I am one, although I am. It's because there is a heat wave. It is 96 degrees peaking here. Yesterday was like 90.
Okay, so I've never been one that enjoys the heat. And if I was in a position where I had money like that and I could, oh, the electricity bill's gonna go up, yada, yada, but I got the money to cover it. Bro, I am running that AC like nobody's business. Keep the doors closed, the AC's on.
degrees. So even though it was like I think straight up midnight, it was still 85 degrees inside of that place. It was colder outside than inside because there's no AC here.
I wouldn't have stayed long if that was the case. Yeah.
And they didn't keep windows open because they didn't want people to sneak in and stuff.
Party popper emoji.
So we walk in, and the party's interesting because it's broken up into like two groups of people. The group of people who are allowed to be in the private area where Jason is streaming, and then the people who want to be in the private area where Jason's streaming, but they're not allowed in that area. And my first thought is, damn, the streaming game has changed.
Let me go back because I was thinking about the AC situation while he was saying that, so I didn't really catch what he said.
Sneak in and stuff.
Party popper emoji.
So we walk in, and the party's interesting because it's broken up into like two groups of people. The group of people who are allowed to be in the private area where Jason is streaming, and then the people who want to be in the private area where Jason's streaming, but they're not allowed in that area. And my first thought is, damn, the streaming game has changed. I'm looking around, I'm like, this shit is run by 20 to 23-year-olds who are actually just fucking riding this line that is completely blurred on what is their life and what is their content, because they're basically the same thing. And I'm looking at this party and I'm like, this is not going to make a good YouTube video. There's no title or thumbnail to be had here. But they don't give a shit about that. It's just keep the camera on, maybe do some crazy shit, maybe farm a clip. It's a different lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle out here. But you know, we're walking through, and I actually really don't recognize many people. I see Lacey. I pat him on the shirt. He didn't look up at me. I don't think he recognized me. So I go, okay, that's cool. I was going to talk about how you.
Also, back to that whole heat inside the house thing. All those people, like, if you're not running the AC, and if there's a heat wave like going through, it's going to be hot no matter what. And then you got all those people in there that's just adding to the heat. I'm out.
You had been kicked from phase, but then not kicked from phase, but then now back in phase. But that's okay. I move on. I look around. I see your rage. Say hello. Say hello to a couple other people I recognize. And then finally, I see Jason. All right. He's in his private room, which is just like a theater or something. And they let us in, I think, because I'm being escorted by Cutie. And we do the whole cake thing, you know. Cutie gives the cake, light the candle, he blows out the candle. And I actually gave Jason a gift. Okay, and you guys might be a little bit mad about me, or mad at me for this, but I gave Jason a gift because what I think every 21-year-old man needs, is when you turn from a boy to a man, is a little bit of tungsten. So I gave Jason our tungsten sphere. Now I did not give him Cubert Jr. I made a choice. I thought Cubert Jr. and Cubert are too important to the sphere, but too important to the stream. But the Spherebert, that's fine. That can go to Jason. Technically, Spherebert's worth more than Cubert Jr., but I can't really display him because he rolls everywhere. So he wasn't even on stream for like weeks anyway. You guys didn't even know. You guys didn't even fucking know. Don't even fucking pretend Spherebert was family. You haven't asked about him since I opened him. So anyway, I did that. I said hello to some other people. But for the most part,
Is that from the time when people... like he let his chat buy him gifts or whatever, and people sent him just like a cube of tungsten?
Walking around that party, you know, for most streamed events, and I'm not saying this to brag, but like if I go to like a TwitchCon or something, I'll get recognized by a lot of people, specifically like other creators. No other creators really came out to me, like maybe one or two, but no other creators really came out to me. But I was getting stopped by people. But what I noticed is the only people who were stopping to say hi, big fan, were the cameramen of other creators. Like, I'm not lying. Every single cameraman came up to me. They would be filming their, like, streamer, like whoever they're supposed to film, and they go, yo, Ludwig, big fan, man. I love all your content. And they go back to doing their job, which, to be totally honest, I was flattered by. I'm the working man's creator. Okay, I'm the working man's. I'm not
There you
a
go.
creator for the creator. I'm the creator for the working man of the creator. That's a fine spot to be in. I don't mind that. I'm proud of that spot. Those are good people. Those are hardworking people. And we step out after a little bit. It's like, again, 85 degrees in this room. I'm parched. I'm looking for water. As I ask somebody for water, instead of water, they hand me like a fifth of alcohol. And I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? I drove a Vespa here, okay? As is, there's a high chance I'm going to die on the way home. A sip of this and I'm guaranteeing it. Like, what are we doing here, bro? I want a fucking water. And the only water that was available was the tap water. I didn't trust it. I left, parched as a motherfucker. And as I'm leaving, it is just like, it's a crazy scene, bro. It's not even like a frat party. I assume this is what really rich people in LA.
I feel like I just feel like they didn't know how to throw a party. Like, I feel like some people's ideas of parties is just, oh, let's have like pretty girls and a bunch of alcohol and weed and all this stuff. Not everybody likes to drink. Not everybody likes to smoke. I feel like you have to have the mindset of wanting to cater to everybody's needs if you're gonna be like throw out like a successful party, right?
His parties look like, because it was.
By the way, that's coming from somebody who's most of my life has been more of an introvert. But I feel like that just would be just common sense.
Just a nonstop rotation of Uber Blacks. Never an Uber X. I didn't see one Uber X. It was only.
Okay, so if I was in a position like that and I was throwing up like a birthday party to have like my friends and other streamers come over and stuff like that, I would be having like giant. I would go all out. If I had the money to do it, I would go giant tubs filled with ice, full of waters, sodas, all kinds of stuff. I would do. I'm not much of a drinker myself. I never really have been, but I would do alcoholic beverages. But I would do everything, you know, and just try to think of everything, and just be like, yeah, whatever's left over, just grab whatever you want on the way out. That's just me, I guess.
Uber Blacks, just like clockwork, you know, like it's the fucking rich terminal at LAX. Only Chevy Suburbans. So I hop into my little fucking Vespa. I drove my Vespa. And I click it on. And, you know, all these people fucking dress up for the party. And then it's me on my Vespa going ring, ding, 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 ding. And I was trying to sneak out undetected. Unfortunately for me, the only person who noticed me exit this party on my Vespa was Kason on the way out. Kason on the way out sees me, goes, drive safe. I go, fuck, thank you.
You know what I'm thinking about when he says the whole like Vespa and just kind of just like him sticking out and just in that scene, just is the, and it's funny that he mentioned he lied about his last name. He changed it to Parker, like Peter Parker. I'm thinking about the Spider-Man scene when he's like driving his like little Vespa or whatever, and it's right before him and Harry like get into it. I can't remember which Spider-Man it was, but I think it was 3. I can't remember, but yeah, I'm just like just kind of nerding it out on his Vespa. I don't know, it's in my head, kind of funny.
As I ring the ding 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 out of the party, and I really acknowledged for the first time, you know, because it's obviously been happening, but I acknowledged for the first time, man, Twitch is different. Twitch is different. It is not the same Twitch that it was when I started watching. It's not the same Twitch that it was when I started streaming. It's a different scene, man. and I think I get it, man. I think I understand it. Like, I'm not even hating on it, to be clear. I think what I try to do is, like, I'm trying to come on stream and do some shit that's entertaining, and oftentimes that packages in to a YouTube video, right? Something condensed, something with a format, a structure, a a goal, some stakes. You know, I've talked about it ad nauseum. You probably know. But I think the new creators, what they try to do is just like share their life as intimately as possible in all facets. My 21st birthday, I meal prepped at my house. I couldn't imagine cameras being on me for that.
Okay, so my whole thing of wanting to start streaming, what I kind of have the mindset for my streams to be is I kind of want to do like everything, I guess. Like I want to do gaming stuff. I want to pack things into my stream that I could later upload to YouTube. Like right now, I'm streaming this. Obviously, nobody's watching. That's fine. I haven't been streaming that long. Still new. But I'm going to take these clips from my stream, edit them down, and make them into YouTube videos. And I'm just like doing reactions, playing some games, and being absolutely horrible at them because I just suck at video games. I don't know. But I want to do, eventually I would like to do collaborations too. I think that'd be really fun, and doing like IRL stuff, and eventually doing IRL collaborations. I think that would be really fun and really interesting. Got a long way to go. Long way to go.
Scheduled my night to go out to the bar, and then I burned my hands meal prepping, so I didn't end up going out. That was my 21st. But now it's low-key like, you know, let's do Project X, but live streamed. I was in conversations with people last night. I didn't even know there was a camera on us. I was like in a conversation with somebody and we're talking about like my dad being from outside of Stockholm. And then I looked over and it was like a fucking flashlight. And I was like, oh, fuck, we're live? What up? I didn't even know. I had no clue. Is that your Oppenheimer moment? No, because I didn't know outside of Stockholm. And then I looked over and it was like about like, let's bid for that. I scheduled my night to go out to the bar, and then I burned my hands meal prepping, so I didn't end up going out. That was my 21st. But now it's low-key like, you know, let's do Project X, but live streamed. I was in conversations with people last night. I didn't even know there was a camera on us. I was like in a conversation with somebody and we're talking about like my dad being from outside of Stockholm. And then I looked over and it was like a fucking...
See, that, I feel like that's not cool. If your plans are to hang out with, or to have somebody there, I feel like, okay, so I'm going to use just myself, for example. If I'm going out and I'm hanging out with people, I feel like the first thing I would do is let them know that I'm live streaming. Give them like a heads up, like, hey, I'm live streaming. You know, whatever happens, but just to give them that heads up so they're not sharing, like, because some people don't want to share their personal information like that. So giving them that heads up, like, hey, I'm live streaming. Come on.
Flashlight. And I was like, oh, fuck.
You have to be considerate of people. I mean,
we're live? What up? I didn't even know. I had no clue. Is that your Oppenheimer moment? No, because I don't think it's bad. I actually don't think it's bad. Here's what I think it's bad for, maybe, is the people. I think, you know, I think it's important to create some boundaries as a creator yourself for your own personal sanity and health. You know, you don't...
I think, I'm not sure if he's referring to like just Twitch in general and how it is now as being not bad, or that specific moment. I'm going to refer to that specific moment. I think that is bad. Again, if you're live streaming, letting the people around you know that you're live streaming, just be courteous.
I don't want to become a caricature of a human where every lived experience is on stream and you can't so much as talk to a fucking another human without going, chat, was that a fucking good thing to say? That's maybe bad. But I can see the appeal. There's a good appeal to it. There's a good appeal to like that level of insight on somebody. It's basically Truman Show. I think Truman Show is an outdated example. I think people called my subathon Truman Show, which maybe might have been accurate at the time. But I think the stream also shapes how they live their life. You see what I'm saying? Like Truman Show was live streaming this guy's life, but he didn't know he was being live streamed. So he was living his life more authentically to how he thought he was supposed to lead it. Now you're leading your life in a more exaggerated manner because the way you lead your life is, is being seen.
I feel like would be the opposite of the Truman Show, right? Kind of just like what he said, like he didn't know he was being filmed and he was on a TV show, as where people nowadays, that's it. You have a camera and and you're living your life in front of the camera like that. So kind of, yeah.
So Black Mirror, I feel like saying so Black Mirror is just like a lazy way to like contextualize it. Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes people just hear phone or stream or YouTube or technology or AI and they just go Black Mirror. And like, yeah, there's probably a Black Mirror that covers it, but that's, about as insightful as being like, oh, so like The Simpsons did it or some shit. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's advancing the conversation much, but maybe that's also because I stopped watching Black Mirror 4 years ago. But anyway, I'm not saying this all to say that this is going to pivot how I do my stuff. This is ultimately for the young men. This is the young man's game. I don't think you guys would want me to go that way, to be frank. We're just old in this joint now. We got to be okay with that.
W video. Yeah, I feel where he's coming from. The whole, I'm still stuck on the being extremely hot in the house and just all those people just adding to that heat, and it's just, I'm good. I'm good. He doesn't realize the people doesn't recognize him because he doesn't have his hair. There's no lug without the wig. Yep, right here. If I show up to a party and it's 85 degrees inside, I'm instantly leaving. There's no way. Yes. It's doing too much. I'm out. I lied. Dude, I'm going to fight you, Ludwig. Clearly, dude is checking for party attendees. That's not what he said, from what I understand. The first interaction, the guy was basically a person that didn't want people to go down that road because he wasn't a fan of the party going on. Apparently he was just some dude. That's from what I understood. And then the second guy was the security of, I guess, that the party. This didn't make a good YouTube video, but did make a good story. I feel like that was a great YouTube video. A good story is a good YouTube video, right? Because you're getting a good story out of the YouTube video, so why wouldn't it be a good YouTube video? The comments are so negative. That's sounds like there's party. Bro, he's 21. He's having a rage at his mansion. He's planning to get wasted. And sure he doesn't care about all the specifics. Yeah, that's true as well. Look at this freaking loser, dude. What a freaking joke, dude. What an absolute joke.